I hesitate to talk about this subject because, as you probably know, I am a Catholic, but I am not someone who would ever hold himself up to the standard of what it means to be a devout Catholic. I am a practicing Catholic. That's it. That's basically it. I practice my faith in the sense that I attend Mass, every Sunday and every holy day of obligation, and I make an effort to observe the tenets of the faith. But I would never ever put myself up there as somebody who is a sterling representative of Catholicism. If I were, I would of course be humble about it and ascribe it to, this is what God has worked through me. But I am not even at that point. I haven't even gotten to the point where where God has successfully worked through me all that much. So this is not me being ostentatiously humble. This is just trying to make a point. I'm also aware that many of you aren't Catholic. Many of you probably have hostility to Catholicism. I don't blame you for having a hostility towards the church, insofar as the modern church is guilty of many errors. There are many problems within the church, and they go all the way up to the top of the church hierarchy itself. There is no question in my mind that the church is in a deeply compromised, deeply corrupted state right now. However, I'm still a Catholic, and I still believe the tenets of Catholicism, which transcend the modern time. They're 2,000 years old, and it's very important not to just think that what we see now is the whole of the picture. Like if you take a snapshot of now, 2022, that's by no means a picture of the entirety of in this case, the faith. But I want to talk about a particular miracle that's been observed recently. Now, this is not a confirmed miracle. It has not been confirmed by the bishop, so it's just a reported thing at this point. But it is a pretty extraordinary sight, and I don't know completely what to make of it. It's pretty wild and crazy. It's pretty. It's a very striking image, I will say, that very much calls attention to itself, very much engages one's attention. I had a friend who called it mesmerizing, and I would agree that's a good word for it. It's mesmerizing. And I will link to it below. But what you have going on, this was happening last Sunday, on the same day that I was visiting, to my surprise, the giant obelisk in the wilds of rural Tennessee, 330 feet high obelisk at the Jefferson Davis Memorial Site, the place of his birth. And as astounded as I was to see that site on Sunday, this other thing was also going on elsewhere, specifically in Guadalajara, Mexico. There was for those who don't know, after communion, the host, which the bread in the Catholic Church it gets to be referred to as the host after it is blessed, and it is believed that in a mystical manner it becomes the actual body of Christ. It was the host was placed in a monstrance where it could be seen and on the altar. And then at some point, all that I know, I don't know very much about. I don't know when it began or when it ended. I don't know very many details about it right now. Much of what we've heard is just through various online sources. But from what I'm given to understand, and from what has been photographed, what has been videotaped, and again, I'll leave the videotape below. What you see is this host begin to pulse, and begins to pulse the way that a heart pulses. It begins to beat the way that a heart beats, and it's the most extraordinary sight. It's the body of Christ if you're a believing Catholic, and there you see the Sacred Heart beating visibly, pulsing within this host, which again is the thing. What is a mere wafer of bread before it gets blessed, and if you're a believer, after the blessing, it becomes the host. I've never seen anything like this before. I know there have been other reported miracles, even in recent years. There's been hosts where blood has been found in the host itself, has turned up within the host itself, not due to the fact that somebody bled on it, but this was blood coming from within the host. There have been reported cases of that in recent years. There was one such case in Poland, I believe it was. But this miracle, if we call it that, again, hasn't been approved, hasn't been confirmed, but I don't know what else do you call it? What else can it be titled? Unless there's some kind of trick they're pulling via special effects, which I don't know what that would be, but I'm sure that doubters are already saying it's probably something like that. But to what end? I mean, why do that? Why make the host beat like a heart? Again, I will show you the video below. With everything going on right now, this feeling that the world's on the brink, that everything that was once treated as sacred has been dragged through the mud, has been desacralized, has been vulgarized, including in many cases the liturgy itself in the Catholic Church. Not that I'm a Latin Mass only kind of person, but there certainly have been plenty of abuses in the so-called Novus Ordo, the new Mass. And it seems like everything you're hearing right now just suggests a world on the brink of collapse into absolute ruin. Things feel more ruinous now than I can remember them ever being in my lifetime, and I've lived a fairly long time. I mean, not as long as some people watching this, but probably longer than most people watching this. And then we're greeted with this sight of the beating heart, seemingly the beating heart of Jesus, pulsating within the host on display on this altar in this church, this Catholic church in Guadalajara, Mexico. I can't articulate what it means exactly, but I have a feeling. I have a feeling that it's significant and portentous. That's all I'm going to say about it. So that's it. I'll leave the link to the video below, so you can see the site for yourself. And I don't think you have to be a Catholic in order to find it an extraordinary thing. But as I said, it's at this point it's not anything that's been confirmed yet. So still in the very early stages. But it certainly captured my attention, riveted my attention, and I imagine it will yours as well. So watch it below if you're interested. Thanks.